Bjorn, you've had quite a journey.
Tried to become a head coach when I was 20. To be 20 years old and to get any kind of head coach opportunity was hard. You try to create opportunities for yourself. So I started a football club from scratch. It was just for me to try to live my dream. Did that for a few years. By the time Graham obviously moved to Östersund, I felt time was up from that club myself, and then start work with him.
As well as doing the under-18s at the football club, you're also assistant to Graham in the Sweden national team. That's quite a balance, I imagine.
We've been on one camp with Sweden. It's probably the proudest time I had in my football journey so far.
We've talked about you coming out of men's football and going to under-18s. What has been the biggest challenge?
If you're 17, 18 years old, it's quite emotional. In our first team, you will have a different kind of leadership group where maybe some like yourself had more experience. When things go good or bad, you can keep quite level-headed. You can see the emotional part of and the confidence part play probably a little bit of a bigger role than our first team.
Bjorn, thank you for joining us on the podcast and welcome back to the football club. Second stint, how are you finding coaching the under-18s?
Thank you. Yeah, it's good. It's been a really interesting season, really positive one so far. So it's been nice, interesting to see a different part of the football club for sure.
How has that changed? Because obviously you've been involved in first teams for a long time. Obviously couldn't coaching adults, and now you're coaching young adults. How is that transition for you as a coach?
It is different. I would lie if I said something else. On a first team side, obviously you get one or two or three that comes up, and in some way that environment is full of men, like you say, and it's driven by probably some older players with a lot of experience. Where work was that with our under 18 team, where there's 17, 16, 17, 18 is a different parts of their life. So it's definitely different, but I like it's quite a unique place in their lives, quite a unique time where they go from scholarships and try to look for their pro contracts and decisions, and it's not straightforward in other ways than in our first team. So it's got its challenges.
And also I suppose first teams, you're driven by performances and points ultimately, whereas it won't be such a stress at that level. It's more about the development of the individuals.
Yeah, no, and there's two ways to look at it. I think you should play every football game to win.
Yeah,
and that's a little bit of what I try to help and prepare the even at the under 18 level. I think we need to create it a little bit from staff, and we got a good team around with a lot of experience. Some like Tom Hamberg, ex-player, obviously, with that knowledge as well. So it is about the individual at the end of the day, but at the same time, I think an individual flourish more in a functioning team, a team that play good football, that is confident. So, but at the same time, understand if we lose football games, it doesn't have the same impact as in a first team environment. But I still think it's important to prepare the still 18. So the next part of their career could be in a first team where it is about 3 points.
So how frustrating do you find it, Bjorn? You've been on the other side of the coin where you could drag players over to make numbers up in the first team, and now you're planning all these sessions in the under 18s. Then all of a sudden, Fabio might say, "I need 3 from your squad." How frustrating can that be sometimes? And I suppose, as well as being frustrating from a point of view where it might ruin your session to a certain extent, or your plan for the session, it must be quite rewarding as well to develop them and get them ready and see them flourish.
No, absolutely. I say the first thing I say is like whatever the first team need is always priority of the club. Personally, under 18s are quite a solid group. It's not been too much move ups and downs as under 21 would be. Probably I would say it's a little bit plus. I think when our boys go over, it's more the team that will come over 10, 15 players. So the Friday we were helping them. We prepared us pieces for the game on the weekend, and I think that's just a good experience for our team, because they get a sense, they get a feel of how it actually looks.
A little taste.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that would help us to prepare on our 18 level, where they probably need to find within themselves. But if they look on the professionalism and the planning and the prep in a first team environment, sometimes makes my job easier, because they see it, they feel it. I don't have to try to tell them how it feels like. They can see it like -1 for our first team. So from our 18 perspective, our group been quite solid. It's not the word. They've been quite. It's like I don't have to have 2 players over there. It's 3 players.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so I think it's a good opportunity experience for them.
Must be nice for the boys when they go over to get that taste and kind of see what could be. I bet the training load goes up a little bit more. The intensity goes up a little bit more because they know what it takes.
Yeah, no, exactly, and I can sometimes see a different player than if they are -1 with myself, but like I say, I think is amazing. I think it's a good thing the club use it that way, and if we can help out our first team, and also obviously we got time to prep our team, it's a win-win.
So Bjorn, you've had quite a journey in football, so to speak. We spoke about this when you were a long time ago, my coach, haven't we? And where you started and things. Do you want to open that up?
Oh, is this from when? From
getting into coaching and how you got into it, and then obviously meeting Graham at Osterson's and that journey, because it is quite incredible.
No, it's in some ways is like any journey. Everyone have a story. My story started literally tried to become a head coach when I was 20. Stopped playing football. Back then, to be 20 years old and to get any kind of head coach opportunity was hard, because this is 20 years ago. And
it would still be hard in today's landscape, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. But then obviously with data and this, you know what I mean, we can just look within this club, how amazing this club is giving opportunity for a young head coach. But back then I didn't have opportunities, so a little bit, I say in life as well, you try to create opportunities for yourself. So I started a football club from scratch, from like the bottom of where you have to start when you start a football club. Did that for a few years, and then by the time Graham obviously moved to Östersund, I felt time was up from that club myself, and then start work with him. So that was a start, and 20 years later I've been around the world a bit, and seen other levels and higher levels for sure. And so, but everything I started, and I'm actually quite proud of how I started.
Yeah, it's an amazing journey. I mean, to start your own football club at 20 is like, how do you even go about that? I mean, did you get finance? Did someone help you with that?
Nah, so you had to go and get finance. You had to speak with sponsors. You had to try to find agreements with the community about pitches and get some discounts here and there. And then game day, you have to call the referees. You have to put the corner flags out. You need to get the tea and coffee. I mean, for me, back then it wasn't a big thing. It was just for me to try to live my dream.
Yeah.
And I did that for a few years, and then my partner decided to also start a women's team. So then she had a women's team, and I had a men's team, and we did laundry in the evenings. It's amazing memories. I mean, sometimes you want everything given to you, and especially these days. And sometimes I think you just need to go and see what you can do yourself first. And so now it's nice.
That desire to want to be a coach is like pretty much unparalleled, I think. And then also, I suppose the way that you decided to stop playing at 20, it's a big decision, right? To stop playing the game and say, I want to be a head coach. This is what I want to do at such an early age.
Yeah, and then the truth is as well, where I'm from, it's a ski resort. It's a winter place. It wasn't the same opportunities probably with... if you couldn't make it to the first team in my hometown, the closest team was 2 hours away, and the next were 5 hours away.
Really?
So, yeah, no. So it's our local derbies was 2.5 hours away, and
wow.
So it's a little bit different to the.
So you had to blaze your own trail.
Yeah, so it's like if you didn't make it to that team, Östersund, that way eventually. So when I stopped playing, Östersund wasn't professional. So a little bit about the journey we did with Graham and how we took the club to Europe. But when I was young, there was a half amateur team that didn't offer any kind of, if you look around what this club had or the English system and the academies wasn't existing. So stop playing football was actually quite easy decision, to be fair.
Forced upon you by your location almost.
Yeah, I wasn't good enough to earn enough money to be full-time in the team where I lived. And then you have to make a decision by 20 if you want to move, and then you need to be good enough at that level. And if you're 20 and still haven't made it, I probably thought I might as well look at something else.
So I suppose you're really you're good for that group of under 18s because you've been there. You've lived that path. You understand the pitfalls ultimately, which unfortunately can hamper young professional footballers. They can find themselves in a beautiful facility like this on one week, and the next week you can be out the door and kind of looking for a club.
Yeah, no, and I think, like I said, because I got Thomas Hamberg with me, and he's the one that speaks a lot about the boys too. They probably don't understand how good of a facility and how good of how good everything is around this place, and most places around the world looks different. So we always say, like, no regrets. Don't hold back. Use the time, use the facilities, push everything you have, because I would say 99% of the football world is probably less exciting and less professional than where we sit right now.
Yeah, less fortunate. As well as doing the under 18s at the football club, you're also assistant to Graham and the Sweden national team. That's quite a balance, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a freak, really. It's you get the I'm lucky to. Firstly, I want to say thank you to the football club that supported me to do both.
How can they not?
No, but
a men's national team.
No, exactly. But at the same time, you have to be grateful for the support the club given me, and then to be able, we've been on one camp with Sweden is probably the proudest time I had in my football journey so far. To have an international game with my three kids, my family and friends, and in the stands, even now, get emotional. It's a massive thing to represent your country. So now it's hopefully get to the World Cup, and it's another chapter. But the first camp was really exciting, and it's a good insight of international football as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, obviously, you've got two huge games coming up. Is it in March? And it would be a momentous turnaround, really, by yourself and Graham if you did make the World Cup after what was a bit of a disastrous group stage under different leadership. So World Cup bound.
Yeah, no, we obviously we're prepping for Ukraine now, the first one, and play that in Spain because of what's going on. And then we got a Poland or Albania a home tie when we get through the Ukraine game. So super excited. It's a lot of prep and work that I have to go into as well. So fingers crossed.
Could be a busy summer. Hopefully it is for you guys.
Hopefully, yeah.
Just talking about kind of where you've been and what you've done. Obviously, you've been around England a little bit now. Swansea, Brighton, Chelsea. How has your philosophy changed since you got to England?
So if you look on the three clubs, it's three kind of different clubs, and at the moment where the clubs were at as well. Championship Swansea has been relegated from the Premier League, with everything comes with us, big turnaround in squad, and obviously Championship itself. So it's a lot of learnings from that. First time coming out of Sweden, coming here with Brighton, obviously at that point, probably try to change a little bit of the playing style and the what's the word, the
culture.
Culture. I don't think culture, but definitely probably more to go a little bit younger playing squad and make sure the recruitment module and everything was in a place there to at the same time at the same time, you have to survive Premier League. That is, as you know, one of the hardest thing in football as well. The next part with Chelsea, you come to a Champions League club that is obviously with new ownership, a bit of turbulent period from the outside, and but at the same time you fight Champions League and you go for the top spots in the Premier League. So it's three valuable experiences where in some way you probably take as much from every club. If you look back on how you apply the next probably chapter, because sometimes you need different leaderships from different kind of group, different environments, different expectations. So it's been I've seen a lot of the
ups and downs.
Yeah, ups and downs, and they all bring something, if you know what I mean.
So as a coach, would you say that you've changed while you've been in England? And as far as the under-18s role is concerned, are you not free, but able to put whatever you want out there on the pitch, or as the club got a kind of identity it likes its youth teams to go through so that it's ready for the first team?
Yeah, so with the experiences, it's again, was hard to apply everything early with 18s, because my experience of under-18 football was zero. And especially with, I'm normally come from a multicultural dressing rooms, even back in Sweden, where here it's obviously with the catchment areas and the Brexit is English dressing room. So I have to adapt.
A fully English dressing room?
Yeah. So, or English, British, I should say.
Yeah.
But so at the same time, I can't come in with how I see things. I need to feel the dressing room, the age group. But from a football point of view, I think it's clear what this club wants. We want to be our front foot, a possession, pressing team that try to score a lot of goals. I think you can see the first team, you see 21s. I don't have any kind of you have to play this shape or you have to have this training session, or so I have a lot of freedom. But at the same time, I know the data back me up that we're doing a lot of things similar to the first team, and we're aligned how they play and how we play with 18. So from a principle point of view and how we approach the game, we're quite similar. But it's quite nice to not have, like, you have to play one shape or you have to, so...
Like rigid?
No, exactly. So I feel like I have a freedom, the players have a freedom to express themselves, so it's been good.
So, obviously, we've talked about you coming out of men's football and going to under-18s. What has been the biggest challenge in that transition?
Try thinking that every day, but I think the thing, if I look on an under-18 game and I look on all the games over the season and I compare that to first team, I would say that if you're 17, 18 years old, probably myself was as well, it's quite emotional. And you can, in a first team, you will have a different kind of leadership group where maybe some, like yourself, had more experience. When things go good or bad, you can keep quite level-headed. Where in under 17, 18, you score a goal and then you can be 50-minute football. You play really well and everyone look confident, and then you might concede one and it goes the other way, because they all no one, there are plays in their football career they try to lead themselves. They're not really where they can lead others as much. So you can see the emotional part of and the confidence part play probably a little bit of a bigger role than a first team.
What is the biggest difference between, obviously you've coached all over the continent now, you've also had a spell at Feyenoord in Holland. What is the biggest difference between Sweden, Holland and England, or are they very similar?
No, I think the football goes quite a bit like how, I can't say society, but if I take it down a notch, Sweden is quite like flat organizations. Everyone takes part of decisions. Even in a football environment, it's like everyone have a say, where England's probably a bit more hierarchy and head coach decides and head coach should guide a little bit more, where Holland is they're quite straightforward, as people know, and direct with each other. Every football club, obviously, the football club is part of the country. So from that point of view, is quite different in the three countries for sure.
And finally, my last question is to you: what does the future hold? And one day, do you want to be the main man at a football club?
If I look back on my journey and all the roles I had, and obviously now putting on the 18 head coach role as well, and the Sweden, I'm humble enough to go. I think in any role I have, I will find a way to help the team and the club I'm working for. Of course, I took the 18 job to get my first taste of be the head coach and lead a staff, lead a player, be accountable for decisions. So whatever the future leads to, I'm not in a rush, and I'm humble enough to say, and I know my work is good, and hopefully it leads to something in the end. But at the same time, I'm happy as anything being back at this role and work for the 18s for the moment.
Brilliant. Well, it's been very good to sit down with you and listen to your journey and about what's been going on in the last couple of years. And it's, I think as a football club, we feel quite safe that you're in charge of our under-18s.
I appreciate it. Nice hearing you.